Well, I'm getting started on my 58 Ford. Had this truck for probably 2 years now. I figure I should probably do something with it. So I'm starting on the bodywork. This is going to be another driver, kind of like the Fox Body Mustang. I'm not just going to throw it together, but at the same time it's just going to get put together to drive. So it's not going to be perfect. It's not a pristine original truck. Someone's already put a Mustang 2 front end in it. It's got a nice Heights cross member and stuff. Someone did a really nice job in the install. I'm not the biggest fan of the suspension, but at least they put it in there nice, and that'll help with the lowering in the front. In the back, it's got the 9-inch in it still. I did flip it. I haven't done the notch on the frame yet, but not sure if I'm going to stay with this rear end. When I pull the 8.8 out of my 65 Mustang, I think I'm going to slap that in here. That way, that'll change my lug pattern to 5 on 4.5. And then in the front, the way the front end's set up, as far as I know, I can just throw Granada rotors on the front and everything else can stay the same, and that'll change the lug pattern in the front. So that'll make it easier to find wheels for it and whatnot. So I already have couple of wheels I picked up a while ago for this thing. Nice new white walls, so we'll see, but that's kind of the plan. Change the lug pattern, put the 8.8 in it. It'll have 4-wheel disc brakes then. So but I'm starting on the body work. Someone already did all the rust repair, but another reason this is just going to be a driver is they just did all this kind of crap. They just butted everything, or not butted it, they overlapped it instead of butting it. So I don't know what they were doing on the floor here, but there's like 3 layers smushed together, and there's self-tapping screws and God knows what else in there. So they hacked out on that side. They hacked out that plate with like an angle grinder. It looks like hell. So if I was to fully restore this truck, I would spend a couple years fixing all that kind of stuff. And I like these trucks, but they're not my favorite thing in the whole world. So I'm just going to get it done and be able to enjoy driving it. So with that said, I've got this other side pretty well stripped. It did have a decent paint job on it, but the clear coat was going. And so I gotta strip off the clear coat, and at that point I'm basically stripping everything. But it's getting there. So I just got one of those. I don't know what they're made of. It says silicon carbide. It's some kind of plasticky, goopy stuff. Stripping disc, and that's working pretty well. It's not hurting the metal at all. So I'm doing that and then going over it again with 80 grit just to smooth it out. So that'll be the beginning there. I'll primer it and block sand it 1,000,000 times, I'm sure. So anyways, there's that. I also got this front roll pan over here, and I started stripping this area. I'm going to shave the front bumper, so I'm going to fill in these big slots, and then I'm going to cut the front of the frame rails off, probably even with that cross member. So this is a 58 truck, and I have the nice 58 hood, but the fenders in this roll pan are 59, which I don't like. So I have a set of cab lights off an old Peterbilt, and I'm probably going to try and use the bullet nose looking light cones, the lenses, and probably put some exhaust tubing in here or some kind of something to make those work, so it'll have the round lights instead of the rectangular ones. But so I got that stripped. So everything else is in decent shape. Looks like the truck was redone at one point, and someone was probably either redoing it again, or they decided to change some stuff and do the Mustang 2 front end or whatever. So a lot of it's in decent shape still. It's just been out sitting. This truck came from a farm auction, and I don't have all the parts to it. They apparently had split up all the parts into separate lots, and the guy I got it from got everything except for I think one lot that had the rest of the steering column and stuff like that. So I went to the junkyard, and there was a 71, I think, Dodge 1-ton conversion van there, and I got the steering column out of it. So it's the nice, I like the Dodge columns. It's got the automatic column shifter. I got the power steering pump off it. This is the Chrysler pump before they went to the whatever Saginaw or whatever other pump they use. This is an actual Chrysler built one, and it still works. So that was the last of the big main stuff that I could think of that was missing. So I actually got the column itself out of the van, and the shaft had buggered up threads on the end, so I went over to another Dodge truck and I pulled the longer shaft out of it and put it into this column. So I'm going to be cutting the end off anyways, but I figured that would give me a little extra length just in case I needed it. So it's going to get a Dodge steering column. And I have pretty much all the interior out of my 59. I've got a 59 3/4 ton that I stripped. So all the interior stuff will come from that. Got the inner fenders here. I got to strip those and paint them. They're already in pretty nice shape. And then I found this box of parts. I knew it was there, but I never really looked through it. So I do have my headlight buckets and stuff like that. And then there's a boatload of, I guess, all of the seals for this thing. And it says taillight wiring. I don't know what all's here, but this guy spent, I don't know how much money. Probably a lot of money on new door seals and window seals and all that. There's either new or I guess freshly chromed mirrors in there. So I do have some of the stuff that I'll need to order. I still need to order the body mounts, but those are like $50. That won't be bad. So this truck is going to get the 260 that is currently in my 65 Mustang, and it's going to get the 2-speed automatic that was originally bolted to that engine out of the 62 Fairlane. So it's just going to be a cruiser truck. It's going to be really, really low, and I'm going to end up going two-tone. It's going to be orange and then white in the center, so I forget how it's split up. The whole top of the hood and along this belt line upwards and kind of following this will be all white. The roof insert and the back here will be orange. Interior will all be orange, and then all the bottom stuff will be the orange. So going to be kind of a creamsicle thing going on. So then the engine bay and all that I'll just paint black. I've got some satin black there. So just doing a whole lot of stripping, and hopefully, probably won't get to it this year. It'll probably be too cold, but hopefully in the springtime it'll be ready to paint. So I'm going to try and get all the bodywork done before then. So I do have the bed for it outside. It's pretty banged up, and someone welded like an 1/8 inch steel plate into the bottom. So it's going to probably get hacked apart. I'm going to do the step notch like I said, so I'm going to have to cut the floor anyways. So, but I don't feel too bad about cutting that bed because it's not a very good one to begin with. So So that's what's going on there. And make some more update videos here as I get stuff stripped and start painting on things.